What's going on, everybody? Today is Monday, April 22nd, 2024. We're back again to talk another episode of Survivor 46. Mikey is not with us, unfortunately, right now. It is his birthday, so most likely not joining us. But, but if he wants to pop in at some point, that would definitely be fun. I also want to get this out of the way real quick, because I remembered that I forgot to do it last week. So.
On Monday.
That's right. It is Monwan Monday.
Had to.
But yeah, I'm excited to talk about Survivor with you guys. So let's kick this thing off and jump right into it.
Let's.
All right. My name, of course, is John Dunphy Hussein, standing my queen, Jem. I'm joined, as always, by my fellow tribe mates, Mr. Kyle Petty, Davis Petty.
That's like, say my whole name. Say my whole name.
Davis Petty.
and of course, Gina Morgino, standing absolutely no one.
No, actually, hold on. Let me fix this. You continue.
Standing absolutely no one.
Continue the intro. I'm going to fix my name.
Yeah. And we are Strat Chat, your favorite reality TV podcast. You can find us on the socials at Strat Chat Pod. We're on all the social media platforms. So find us, throw us a like, a comment, a subscription, a follow. Head over to places like Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Leave us a really nice review because
it helps
it's really nice for you to do that. Yeah, it helps us. Yeah, it helps us. It makes us look good. So do it. All right. Alrighty. Who we got? Gina Morgino McKnight for Hunter,
Had to be.
Yeah.
I'm like, McKnight, who? Brian, Jordan. I work
Brian. All right, so this was a pretty wild episode. What do you guys think about this episode? Any initial thoughts?
What the fuck?
I was so excited about this episode. It's like, oh my gosh, there are so many plans in motion. Everyone has a different idea. So many different things are going on. And I was watching for so long, and it's like, yo, are we even going to do a challenge? Are we just going to go?
I was like, what's happening? I watched how late in the episode it was when they were starting the competition, and I was like, wait a minute.
Right. I was like, did I miss it? Right. And
right.
Then, like, you get to the end of this whole thing, and that tribal was absolutely noodles, right? That's the only way to put it. And to just end up with the same damn plan we had in the beginning of the episode, I was just so disappointed that we did not do all of this for literally nothing, just for my man to go. Those are my first thoughts. Y'all done played me out. Production told everybody to go scramble the fuck out of this shit, and then we just gonna do what we're gonna do anyway. Boo.
Yeah. I mean, I can't wait to get into all of it. The first like specific thing I wanted to ask you though was, will either of you be buying a Q skirt?
You know,
no, you're not into the Q skirt.
It depends on how it's fashioned. I don't like Q, but I might be down for the skirt. You know, it feels like a new age fanny pack. And I have a lot of goodies. You know, you want to have your place for your vape pen, you know, a couple of dollars. You know, I don't have much. You know, you got a couple of cards, your ID, you know, your little car key. I mean, I don't know. It's better than your pocket. And I think it's probably better than a fanny pack, depending on how it is delivered. So I don't know. I don't hate it.
All right.
Need to see a prototype.
Kyle is at least partially endorsing.
I'm intrigued.
He's considering it.
Yeah, he wants to see more.
There's a world in which I donate to the Kickstarter.
Put him on the PR list. Give him a trial.
Yeah, let me see what's up.
Oh man. All right. Okay. So the first like real thing I want to get into with you guys was, okay, we've talked about this before, right? Nami was able to escape tribal for the entire beginning portion of the game. The only time that they lost someone was Randon for the medevac. But I'm curious to get your thoughts on how it's now affecting the Nami tribe's gameplay. Like it's very weird to me because Hunter feels, even though he's close with Tevin still, like feels somewhat separated from the Nami tribe.
Yeah.
And then you have like Liz, Venus, and Tevin left from the tribe, and they feel like to me very sloppy all over the place. Like, is this an example of like, you know, because Nami just dominated the first part of the game, they're so much less prepared to play the game than like a Yanu? Because we
Absolutely.
saw Liz, Venus, and Tevin all thinking that the soda move was in some way their move specifically, like separately. It's like, what do you think about Nami and the gameplay there? Any thoughts on that?
No, they're absolutely not prepared. They have been like both of the other tribes have been like the kumbaya, feel good, we're all friends, we're having a great old time on our island vacation tribes. And now all of a sudden they have to catch up to this game that's been happening for what, 20 something days, and they're like, oh shit, we're here to play something. And they don't know how to do anything other than, in some of their cases, win competitions. Like they don't know how to do anything once they have that power.
Yeah, it's been
Retweet. Yeah.
It's really it's just, I don't know, this whole season really I'm not enjoying very much. Even with this, it got more chaotic in this episode, and like there were interesting things that happened, but I don't know, it just feels like this cast over, and there are people that I like in this cast, but what I seem to notice is that it's mostly the women that I'm enjoying watching. Like I really like Tiffany and Kenzie. I still like Venus. I even like Liz more than I like people like Q, and like, you know what I mean? Like I still like Maria. Like it's mostly the women that like, I wish that we just got to see them doing more of their own thing, because you just have like Q and Tevin dominating on the men's side, and I feel like really driving the votes.
Well, you bring up an interesting point too, because I think what's also interesting here is that there's not a lot of men left. You really only have Charlie, Q,
Hunter.
I was like, oh my
Ben.
gosh, is that it?
And Ben, yeah.
Ben. I always forget Ben. So never mind, just scratch that whole thought. I guess there's men left. I just forgot about them. But I guess that actually does kind of like reaffirm what you were saying there. It's really the females that I've been drawn to, because I don't even remember the men that are left. Isn't that terrible? Now that Tevin's gone, I couldn't care less. Other than the fact that I want Q next.
Yeah.
Rebecca did have an interesting question here before we get too far off of it. Rebecca wants to know, given this conversation about Nami not having gone to tribal, is there an advantage to losing in the new era version of Survivor pre-merge? I'm going to say yes.
Yeah,
yes,
I agree.
there is. You know, I think because you've got this 3-tribe format going on here, you got at least one tribe that's out of practice, where the other two are actually playing Survivor, where you don't get that in a 2-tribe format. You know, eventually you're going to lose and you're going to actually have to play the game. At Nami, with the exception of like, who they lost Randon because he had that arm injury.
Yes.
Yep.
Or
Then
shoulder,
Soda.
whatever happened there. And then Soda. But like before Soda, y'all didn't really play.
Right.
So yeah, I definitely think there's an advantage for sure.
Yeah,
And that was still technically, quote unquote, post-merge ish.
Right.
Yeah. Ish. Because you got that stupid.
Yeah, I'm like, yes, it's post-merge, but like,
right.
Right. It almost feels more tribe swappy than merge.
Yeah.
But okay. They told us it was merged, so we have to accept it as that. But but it wasn't, you know.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I guess in a way there is an advantage to losing, but which that makes me hate that.
Yeah.
The whole thing, like part of the game is outplaying people, right? So like if like as a tribe, let's say 4 people on the tribe decide, hey, it'll be better for us if we see a tribal and like know what goes into it. So like let's just throw this one. It's just like I don't want to see people play the game like that, especially right off the bat. Like
no, like, stupid. Rebecca does continue. She follows up with, you know, if you have an idol and you know you're not going to go home, do you throw it?
Yeah, I guess if it's the type of challenge where one person can throw it and you do have an idol and you know that you are safe, you know, like I suppose that's an instance where I could see somebody doing that, but like I still don't really love that either.
That one's kind of a toss-up though, because then it's like as soon as everybody knows that you have done that, now it's like, well, what the hell?
Right. It would have to be something that's easy to throw but not obvious. And again, it's hard too because a lot of time I feel like a lot of these competitions will come down to like a puzzle or something where it's at least two people have to compete. And if like one person's getting pieces and then the other person's like so obviously not, like I don't know, it's just it's hard to do that.
Sorry, ahead.
It's hard to throw a comp, I feel like, in Survivor if you don't have help.
Yeah, I was going to say, are you going to be able to throw it single-handedly, without tipping other people off? And I think it also depends on when your idol expires.
Well, what I was going to say,
good long term, like if this is one of those that expires, and once you get to merge, then absolutely throw it and protect yourself. But then if this is one that can last until like final 5, like a lot of idols do, I'm not getting rid of that too early, just for the sake of playing the game. I'll figure out the game with my immunity, and I'll hang on.
But the other problem with this is if that were to be like something that people think about moving forward, they have to revamp the idols because we would have to then go back to just like you're hunting for an idol and you find an idol. It can't be this like you found a clue to an idol that then leads you to this mission that then leads you to this other clue that like you can't do it that way, like because we see in like Australian Survivor all the time. You get an idol, you play an idol. Bing, bang, boom.
It's like
with this, it's like it takes me so fucking long, and it's such a process to get the idol. Then once I have it, it's like, no, I am not going to throw this on a random tribal. I worked hard for this,
I worked man hard for this, especially after all that they did. I got to go over here, I got to go dig, I got to go dig again, I got to go search. Like way too much.
I was going to say,
I'm going to ride this thing until the wheels fall off.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say too, like just the way that Gina started describing it and the way you just started to describe it, Kyle, there, like it was starting to make me feel physically tired. It was like I gotta find this clue, it'll tell me to go over there, it'll give me another clue, and then I gotta come back over here, and then hopefully I find the idol. It's like, and then this time your tribe had to lose in order for you to even find the idol.
Right.
And then we saw how Hunter got it.
Changes just for the honor of playing the game. I thought I was ready to play the game when I got cast. Jefferson Brooks. Like,
Jefferson.
Hunter wouldn't have. Nami didn't find their idols to the very end, right before merge too.
Right.
So like Hunter wouldn't have even had that option. He was frantically searching for his idol as the other two tribes were in the boats on the way over. Like it's so stupid.
Boats coming. Where that idol? And it's like this is so stupid.
Oh God.
I am enjoying talking about it though. So how stupid is it? I'm entertained one way or the other. So I mean, I'll definitely be watching 47. You didn't lose me. So
oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like we got to talk about Q because what the hell is this guy doing? I'm sorry to this man, I am, but like I am so tired of him. I'm so freaking tired of Q.
Why are you sorry?
I mean, I'm sorry to this man. I feel bad for him. I just don't want him there anymore.
Follow up with like, you know what? On second thought, I'm not sorry. That's what I was hoping for.
If I said Q out there, and I said hi to him out in the real world, I feel like he'd be very pleasant probably. But I need him to go away as soon as possible.
It's so funny because like I feel like we've been spending so much time talking about how crazy Banu has been, and like Banu is freaking crazy, but like Q is just the same crazy in a different font. Like they're doing the same shit.
I'm so glad that you brought this up, Gina, because I totally drew a comparison between Q and Banu in this episode.
Yeah.
When I was thinking about how at Yanu, and again, Banu was definitely not a good player. I would still rank Q higher than him, but what was the big complaint that Q and Tiffany and Kenzie had about Banu was like spilling secrets on that journey to the other, to the other tribes. And then we see in this episode, Q is telling people about Tiffany's idol. At Tribal Council, he's going crazy and causing all this commotion. Like, this is exactly what Banu did.
Yes.
It is. There's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah. I just said, let's talk about Q. Because
I know. And it's like, so I definitely felt that Q was starting to lay some of the groundwork. Oh my god! I have so many thoughts. I don't even really know like where to start. Rebecca, if Banu is Comic Sans, Q is Wingdings, because what the fuck kind of strategy was that? I couldn't agree more.
Oh man.
Um, there's a lot to unpack with the
Yeah.
Q situation. I think that so Q, I did feel like was laying some of the groundwork, at least to plant some seeds about the threat of Tiff, which does need to happen if he is to win this game. Because I definitely think that Tiffany has a little bit more social prowess than he does. So she definitely is a threat to his game. And it's difficult, I think, to judge when is the right time to make a move in such an accelerated game.
Uh-huh.
That being said, I would almost like to give Q the benefit of the doubt in that, isn't it also possible that maybe when we got to that tribal and this whole, oh, I quit thing, I'm blah, 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 I felt like when he did, I never believed that was real at all. And I kind of inferred that this was a way to create some more chaos to get votes off of Tiff. To which, when I discussed this with my mother, she was like, well, why would he do that? He was already telling everybody about her idol. I was like, well, maybe it's a backtrack. Maybe it's like, maybe I was moving a little bit too soon. And the other part of this that I want to introduce is it also possible that people don't know how to maneuver in such an accelerated game? People who play Survivor are familiar with giving a little bit more time for things to flesh out a bit. So this seed I planted, I'm not expecting it to grow into anything immediately. I'm just letting that lie. And like, you need to know this person's a threat. You need to know this person has an idol. That doesn't mean it's for today. I don't know when it is, but you just need to have this information so things can begin to germinate. And I felt that at that tribal, it was immediate take back of what he did. Is that Q's fault or is that the new format's fault?
Sure.
Here's my problem with Q and doing all this, though, is that he is the one, if I remember correctly, on the journey that was like the main driving force behind this +1 alliance, this alliance of 6.
Mm-hmm.
And anyone that has spoken out about it, first it was Tim bringing up Nami's name. Q immediately voted Tim out with Hunter. Okay. And then you go and anytime that Q gets wind of anyone saying anything about someone within the 6, he's like, that person's got to go. This alliance has never been like real, I feel like. And from the very beginning, they've been voting their own members out. You see Q voting Tim out first with Hunter. Then you see, and we've talked about this before too, the kind of like twisting of words that we've seen in this game. Q did it in the past, and I think Tevin did it in this episode, because Tevin had a conversation with Tiffany, and this is why, like, I don't really know what to believe with the Q stuff, because we hadn't really heard him say Tiffany's name until this moment. When Tiffany and Tevin were talking, Tiffany just brought up the idea of like, hey, I don't know if we should get rid of Venus right now. Like, is she really a threat? Like, should we be looking at someone else? And Tevin asked her, like, well, then who should we get? And she was like, well, that's the thing. I don't really know. Like, maybe we should just do immunity challenge and we can figure it out from there and see who's not safe. Tevin immediately went to Q and was like, Tiffany said she wants to save Venus and that she doesn't care if one of the 6 goes home. It's like, that's not what she said.
Yeah.
She said, yeah. And then as soon as Q heard that, he goes, oh, Tiffany's not with the 6. She's got to go. And he starts spreading this stuff. And it's just, so for me, it's like Q's the main one being like, oh, 6 strong. Yeah. And he votes out Tim, then immediately turns on Tiffany, like after Tevin's, twists her words. And then he's talking about how he wants to throw himself in and get voted out at the end. Like, Q is the most like erratic player, I feel like, that we have seen in a while, I think.
He is erratic, but I think it's also because, do you notice that, like, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't really think we even got any confessionals from him this entire episode.
From Q?
From
sure
Q.
We did.
Did we?
Oh, yeah.
So I feel I don't actually know.
No, we got a lot from Q, because that's when he was always like, that was a mistake. I made a mistake. He made a mistake. That was like a meme thing that was like going around all week.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, I don't feel like I really have any real insight into anything that he's doing. I just feel like it's all like one big toss up. All right, well then hell with me.
Well, can we talk about the hide and seek stuff too? How did you feel
Sure.
about this?
Stupid.
So dumb, right? Can we talk about? So there were two quotes in particular from Q during this game because Q's like, "Oh, I'm going to get everybody to play hide and seek. I'm so smart," but they're not going to know that I'm analyzing them the whole time.
Yeah.
Stupid.
And then we see at one point, okay, Liz was found by Charlie. Liz now has to go and start seeking for people. She's walking around. She happens to find Q. And Q decides that this means, he says about Liz finding him, "Bad idea, Liz. Now I know you're playing the game and you want to win." Because she found somebody in hide and seek. Meanwhile, she was the first person to be found, which means
So
she was the
stupid.
worst at hiding. Is she really that good at this game? He also said about Hunter, and I will say about this because Hunter, we all know this, is a huge threat. He's awesome. I really like Hunter. I really do. But like, you can't deny that he's this huge threat. Everybody has to be looking out for him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously Hunter was the last to be found, hiding up in this tree. And Q, once Hunter is found, Q says, "Hunter made a mistake. If I can't find you in hide and seek, I can't find you in this game." And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yes. If Hunter is willing to go all the way up in the tree, what else is he willing to do? What? Like, what? And like the way he delivered it, as if like, yo, I stumbled on the way to understand how much skin people have in the game.
Yeah.
Y'all, I crafted this sick ass hide and seek, and ooh, when they hide, no, I'll be seeking. But I'm not just looking for that. I'm looking for that game. I'm looking for that game strategy. I'm like, you better stop it. What the hell is all this? So stupid. So stupid.
Oh my god.
And so much of the episode was taken up with this. I mean,
Yeah.
this was bookended by a commercial break. You know, we gave at least 7 minutes of this sucker. I didn't, and Venus was on board too. Oh, well, this hide and seek tells me this. Hide and seek didn't tell you nothing. These are just
We're having a good time.
We're just having fun.
I like Rebecca's comment here. All hide and seek showed me is that it takes very little to get Q to feel a certain way about people.
Right. As if we didn't already know that to begin with.
Well,
Right,
Yeah.
because somebody could just make one comment and he's off to the well with a whole new plan. So this really just this was it on fleek, as the children say. I probably use it. Who cares?
I think the last thing I want to say about Q, at least for right now, before we get into the immunity challenge, because I'm gonna have more stuff to say about him after the immunity challenge.
of course.
But oh crap! And now that I was about to say that I have one other thing to say,
forever.
I can't remember what it is.
I know.
So, God
Yeah,
damn.
he's like you vamp, hoping that you'll remember by the end of the sentence.
What the hell was I about to say? It was right there.
Damn.
It was
Not bringing
was
the
right
theater
there.
terminology to Strat chat. Where's Matt Sirico? I'm in trouble.
God damn it!
Sarika.
God
Oh
damn
my
it!
God.
All right, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll remember it. But let's just get to the immunity challenge then. All right. So in this immunity challenge, there was just a lot of big poles sticking out of the ground, and people had to hang on them for as long as possible. And if you were the last person to be hanging up there, you win. You won the whole thing. Yeah.
This whole top to bottom, this whole thing was a mess.
Well, so let's talk. So first, before we get into the immunity challenge itself,
Yeah.
we did have an offer on the table.
Mhm.
4 people sit out. You guys get a big old bag of rice that's going to last you the rest of this damn game.
Mad rice.
I don't know why am I talking like this.
No, it's good, I think.
But
Like
so-
me, that's what it is.
Q and Liz offered to sit out pretty quickly, I thought. And you know what? I will say, as much as like Liz has, I feel like people haven't loved Liz throwing around the fact that she's got money and she doesn't really care about the prize and stuff. I feel a little bit for her here because she can eat rice. Apparently she's allergic to everything else. And we learned at tribal council that apparently she has not even pooped yet, like 16 days in. So, I do wish she got some rice for herself. That's all. But we did not have 2 additional
God, I
people
don't give a
stepping
fuck.
forward to sit out of the competition. So
I'm growing a little weary of Liz's laments, if you will. Because everything's like, oh my gosh, I can't eat. Oh my gosh, I have so much money. Oh my gosh, I'm the downtrodden. And it's like, can you stop it? You knew exactly what Survivor was before you got here.
Right. If I have that many
Okay.
dietary restrictions, I'm not
I'm
signing
not playing
up to play
Survivor, right? Go play Big
Yeah.
Brother. All right, it's a similar enough game. You got all the cushy things that you would want for somebody who has so many restrictions. Like, I don't know. Like, you want the experience of bugs and ants, go lay outside, go lay on the ground and skip.
no,
the
I hear
chair.
that.
You know,
I
like,
hear
just
that, but
stop it.
I
Like,
no, I hear you. But I do feel like everybody should be able to play Survivor, like dietary restrictions or not. And I do feel like, and like I said, I don't really care right now. Like Liz is not my favorite player. I'm not rooting for her to win. But I do think that even with dietary restrictions, you should be able to play this game. And I understand why she was upset in the moment, because it's like, all right, I really want this rice. That's all. I'm not
I didn't
saying
say she shouldn't play the game. You should stop complaining about the things that you knew were a problem from the beginning. Like, whoever excused DF in Big Brother 23 from the fact that he was a large man that had problem in physical challenges. Everyone said this is exactly what you know what it is. That you knew what this game was. You don't get to say, "Oh, I'm fat," and just coast on through the whole thing. And he knew that, so he made his game social. You can say what you want about the man, but his social game got him to that final 2 seat. And it's like we're not looking to make excuses for the things that are holding us back. So stop trying to garner sympathy for those things. And that, I find that annoying.
I don't know how much she's tried to actually. I don't know how much she's tried to garner sympathy though, because I feel like most of the complaining I've seen has been in like her confessionals. I could see in private moments where I would be like, I would try not to complain in front of everybody, but then in front of just the camera when it's just me being like, "Fuck, I really wish those people took the rice because I'm starving."
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. So even if she's not garnering sympathy, I am a little bit hesitant to give her any credit for the fact that she's toughing it out, because again, you knew what this was. This is season 46. It ain't that brand new.
Of course. I just, I'm not trying to start a big debate. I'm just saying I felt bad that she can't eat and they didn't get the rice, because this was the first time that they.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I feel like I got my fists up as if like you're defending Liz.
No, I'm just because this was the very first time every season that Jeff has offered the rice, enough people have stepped forward to get the rice. This was the first time that didn't happen.
I'm looking at Rebecca's comment here. Correct me if I'm wrong. There were 2 offers on the table, right? It was either 4 people just sit out of the challenge, or I think it was 2 people can offer to lose their vote instead of the 4 people sitting out of the challenge. Is that what it was?
Unless it was now that 2 people are sitting out, like if you don't want to sit out of this vote, you can still compete for immunity if you want to give up your votes. It might have been both of those things, not one or the other. I don't remember, honestly.
I remember there were like 2 versions of the offer that went out.
Yeah. Maybe someone will be able to answer that for us.
Who the fuck is Matt Blevins?
I'm so Survivor expert.
Exactly. I'm so happy you're in love and everything, but isn't the honeymoon phase over yet? It's been
we need you here.
It's been at least 4 weeks.
Yeah, Matt.
Come back.
We need you back.
It's a once a week conversation. And like, is this really love if he's not watching Survivor with you? You'll be able to come on back. We need to meet this man. We got to vet him proper. All right. So like, bring him around.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
So not surprising, Hunter won this immunity. Literally, they were up there. Oh, go ahead.
No. You finish your thought.
No, I was just gonna say that he clearly could have gone for a long time, because at the end, once Charlie had dropped off, it was down to Charlie and Hunter. Hunter literally just hung backwards on the pole using just his legs. Yeah. So
this was the one moment of the episode where like Q said something that I was like, yeah, right on the money, dude. Nobody wanted to sit out because everybody needed to play this competition that they can totally win. Half of the people were out in the first 2 seconds of the competition, and you're playing a competition that is climbing up something and hanging there with the guy that just climbed up a tree and hung out there for fun in hide and seek for 20 minutes a couple of hours before, the day before.
I thought hide and seek taught you everything you needed to know about Hunter.
Like, you know you're not winning this against Hunter. He just did that
Right.
shit for fun. You know,
Mhm.
like he could hang up there all day.
Well, this is also, just by the way, because of how like angry Q got about this. Like everybody knows they're not going to beat Hunter. Why would you even bother? And then I'm thinking to myself, like, Q, didn't you just vote Tim out like a couple weeks ago or a week ago for saying that nobody can beat Hunter?
Well,
Mhm.
and this we talked about this too. Like they needed to have gotten Hunter out when they had the opportunity because, like, yeah, like he has like this idol that he has or whatever. But like it's getting to a point now where he can very easily just like beast out these immunity challenges. It's like you like when you had that shot, you needed to have taken it because like how many times are they going to be able to vote Hunter at this point? Like he's clearly like his competition prowess is so much farther ahead of everybody else's. And there's no rule in Survivor that you can't win back-to-back immunities. Like they
He
they
could
could
run the
screw
table.
themselves.
He could
I
run the
still
table.
maintain though that I'm not sure that everyone knew that about Hunter until the merge. Like, did everyone on every tribe really know how strong Hunter was
And
coming
it's just the
into
fact
this?
that like I know I said this last week, but like yeah, they weren't all like paying attention maybe, but Jeff was very vocal about like, and here comes Hunter, and at the end of the competition,
He
like
was, but I don't know. I feel like when you're in the throes of it, because every time that Hunter showed how strong he was in these competitions, it was always at the last stage of
yeah,
these layered comps. And like somebody like Q that seems to be, I don't want to say he's not the mastermind at all, but he one of the loudest voices anyway. And he does seem to steer certain things certain ways. Like Q, he was always at that stage with Hunter. So anything that Jeff was saying, I feel like it's just like a background
that's
noise. Like
yeah,
if I was playing this, like, oh, when Hunter, blah blah, I don't even know what you're saying, man. Like
yeah,
I just gotta get this sack of sand on top of this platform. I don't know what you talking about.
yeah.
So I don't
That,
know.
that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and that's totally a fair point. I just, for me, like, there's one thing that I think of, like, especially with Siga. Obviously, Yanu was always short people, so everyone was always competing for their side. But like,
Mhm.
Siga was always in the same boat as Nami, where they had to sit out at least one, two, maybe even three players. Like, um, so like Siga had every opportunity to watch, certain challenges from start to finish, and like be able to look at all the different tribes, see how everybody's competing. And I feel like Gina brought this up. Like there was a lot of times that Hunter was that last person competing, and whatever it was, making that final shot,
Mhm.
doing this, putting this last piece together. Like, and I feel like if Hunter's always the one there, like there might be a couple people from each tribe still competing, but you still then are going to have a few people from each tribe standing there just watching. And if
Yeah.
Hunter's always the guy making the shot, because that's the thing too. Nami was never coming in second place. Nami was always coming in first place.
Right.
Like it's not like it's not like Siga and Nami were going back and forth. It was always Nami first in immunity challenges, Siga second, and then Yanu third until the very end.
Mhm.
Um, and I feel like now you've got this first immunity challenge, and the necklace is right around Hunter's neck. So like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think there's been enough said about Hunter by other people, even if you haven't necessarily seen him perform. There's been enough said that everybody, I think, on the beach would be like, man, Hunter's tough. Hunter's tough. But I do think that you're right, though, Kyle, that like, especially Yanu, who has been so on the bottom and always trying to just scrape by and just survive. At least for them, the threat of Hunter, I feel like would be more of a mystery.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, because they were all wrapped up in the whole like Jess is not putting up, this one's not doing
Right,
that.
right, right.
Like, they were so wrapped up in their own business, especially because they just kept losing. I don't think they were necessarily looking at anyone else. So to have a Q, and that means also Q would now have to admit that another man is a physical threat to him, and that's not what Q is going to do. We're not going to admit that this person's a real problem. We're going to point the finger at other people.
Yeah.
So, Frank.
I know that made me giggle too.
Frank adding that, he did win hide and seek. So that's 2 immunity wins.
In one episode, baby.
Yes.
2 wins, 1 episode.
Comp Beast Hunter for winning Q's hide and seek.
that's right.
That's
Q's
hysterical.
hide and seek.
Hide and seek with Q. Stupid.
All right, so things definitely started heating up after immunity challenge. We knew that Hunter was safe, and obviously, I think some names were out. Venus's name is always out there. But then we saw, I think it was Maria, Ben, and Liz were talking at one point, and Liz was talking about how she wanted Tevin to be the next, the next player out. At some point, this spread to Venus, and then Tiffany and Kenzie were brought into the conversation, and everybody seemed to be on board with this. Kenzie, in particular, was happy about this because she felt like this was going to be a big move that Yano didn't have to get like their hands dirty. They could just kind of be on the outside, supplying votes towards it. But this was like a Nami. If it's Liz pitching this idea, this is a Nami person taking out another Nami person. We can kind of stay clear, but we're part of the vote. So once this all started to go into motion, though, we actually saw Tiffany go to Q. But we saw Tiffany go to Q. And she was talking about how the votes look like they might start shifting onto Tevin. Q was not about this because he's all about the six, right? Even though he's voting out members of the six and throwing their names out and all that. I think really what this was for Q, the reason he was so like upset about it, and I feel like the reason he gets mad about any of these moves that he's not initially a part of is because he's not the one coming up with them. So Q, as soon as Q was told by Tiffany, Q went to Hunter, telling them that they wanted to, the tribe wanted to vote Tevin out. And of course, Hunter's not going to like this because Hunter and Tevin are closely working together. And this caused a conversation on the beach between Hunter, Q, Maria, Charlie, and Liz. So the five of them. What was interesting about this to me too is that Hunter, Q, Maria, and Charlie are all part of this six now. Liz is not, but she was there in this conversation. And Hunter was trying to get everybody to go back to the plan that had been brought up earlier in the episode about taking Tiffany out instead of Tevin. Simultaneously, while this is going on, there's another group on the beach that is watching this group that Hunter has joined together. And in that group,
so messy.
you had Venus, Tiffany, Ben, and Kenzie. And they're all talking. I did like in this moment that like Hunter is clearly trying to shift the votes back to Tiffany, and Liz is like, "You guys can do whatever you want. I'm voting Tevin." I actually really liked it.
I'm gonna fuck.
Yeah. And then at one point we saw Venus walk right over to the Hunter crew and just be like, "Listen, guys." Yeah, like what's going on? And Liz was like, "Venus, I love you, but like just give us." And Venus was like, "But wait, like the sun is going down. We're about to go to tribal. Can we all talk? Like, can we all get on the same page?"
Venus did not give a singular crap about like being like nice and respectful. She was like, "I'm going over there because no one can tell me I can't. Bye."
Right.
Damn.
Yeah.
What did you think? What did you think of this though? Like the two different groups on the beach, like literally watching each other talk to each other, and then Venus going over and everything. Liz kind of just standing her ground. Any overall thoughts about this kind of scramble that we had? This was a pretty
loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah. I loved her assertiveness, Venus. Just absolutely loved it. And she's absolutely right. Simply because you see other people talking, why can't you just walk up?
There are no rules here.
Exactly.
Sorry.
You can't tell me I can't be here. And if I walk over and you walk away, I already know what I needed to know. That's it.
It's so funny too because like
I've heard enough.
I 100% support both versions of this because like Venus, absolutely, you go insert yourself and you find out what you need to know. But on the other hand, everybody else, as soon as she walks away, like, can we just get rid of her? Like, what the hell? Because if I'm the person trying to have a private conversation, I'm gonna be like, get out of here, Venus! Like, what the hell? Like, I can absolutely see myself on both sides.
I gotta tell you though. But you know what? If you want to have a private conversation, go into the jungle.
Right.
You want to sit on the beach 30 feet away from us? I'm going to walk over to you.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like, if you're over by the water well, I'm going to be way less likely to be like, what's going on over here? Than be like, I have a group on the beach here. Let me see if they're thinking the same thing as us over there.
Just so funny because like top to bottom, everything everybody was saying, there was no version of that I was like, nah, fuck that guy. I was like, yeah, you're right. And you're also right. And so is he. Sorry.
I totally agree. And I think that, Venus is such an interesting person because I don't think we have seen every single side of her. And the conversation, I have to reference the previous episode to the conversation that Venus had with Maria and how receptive she was to her constructive criticism. And somebody like that, I'm not exactly sure is somebody that you would just, oh, can't we just get rid of her? I'm not sure that we want to, because she is open to coaching, as we like to say in the corporate world. She's somebody, as Gina would say, who is malleable. Like, let's just have a proper conversation, show her the proper respect. Like, don't act like you're so, because I think that she would not respond well if you were agitated with her in any way. Like, you'd have to come at her in a calm manner.
Yeah.
But she does seem to be receptive to other people's ideas. So even if she came to you with something, if you show her that you're open to working with her and you're respecting her as a person who is a part of the voting party, then like she might be somebody you can work with. So like I wouldn't toss her aside so soon. I may not be down with her plan, but if I present her with a plan that's mutually beneficial, I actually think she'd go for it.
Right. And that's that was something that was funny to me last episode 7, because we saw Venus being left out of every conversation, right? Tevin was coming up with this plan to get everybody to vote Soda out. These conversations were already had by everybody except for Venus because they were purposely leaving her out. At one point, Venus approached Maria and was like, what about Tevin and Soda? We should break them up. Maria went into this conversation knowing full well that she has already now talked to Charlie and Tevin about voting Soda out. And we saw a confessional immediately after from Maria being like, I like Venus, but she just seems really oblivious in this game. And I'm like, without being included in any conversations, Venus is pitching you the idea that you're already talking about. How
clueless is she?
Yeah.
Right. And then, I have not understood all the Venus hate all season. And you guys, I've talked about that a lot. So, but
people
I'm slowly inching towards that line. I'm starting to see where you were coming from. I didn't see any glimmers of that before. I definitely thought that your support of her was more physical than strategic.
No.
I respect. I
just always felt like she was being like attacked, because this is what's funny to me too, when you really look at Venus's arc here in the game, right? Because where things started, Randon was like the first person to call her out, then started working with her, immediately gets medevaced. She's got to build up her game again now. She's somehow survived really because of how dominant Nami was in the beginning of the game. Then you get to merge, and what's happening, right? You got Tevin and Soda immediately poisoning everyone against Venus, saying about how she's a snake and she's got to go. And yet Tevin couldn't even stand by that, because he immediately switched up and betrayed his own ally to take her out instead of Venus. It's just, so who is the real snake here is what I'm wondering, I guess, because it's like, even in the beginning of this episode 8, we saw the two tribes coming back from their separate tribal councils back to camp. And Kenzie talked about how everyone was so shocked that Venus hadn't been voted out, because all Kenzie has heard is how nobody wants to work with Venus. Nobody likes Venus. Venus is a snake. And Tevin and Soda were the ones most driving that train. And now Tevin switches everything up to vote out his number one ally?
Yeah.
Is Venus really what they're all saying? Because
who's to say? This is why Survivor needs live feeds. It seems like you're really starting to turn a corner on Venus, though. And is there a reason why your name is still Hussein?
Because she's my wife.
Oh, okay. We don't do mistresses in this house.
Well, we'll see.
John Dunphy is not poly. He's married down, and that's it.
Married down.
Listen, look at my team's graphic, man.
I'm all over the place. Kyle Petty, Davis Petty.
You have two names that are yours.
I didn't even, somehow it was just, by it was random. It was out of nowhere. This heart just appeared in Jem's picture. I didn't even
Honestly,
put it there.
that heart is so cute.
It is cute, isn't it? It's cute.
It is.
It's cute. Yeah.
It looks handwritten. So cute.
Oh, I am so dumb. But anyway, all right.
It's trying to make me burst out into song. I'm your Venus, I'm your fire, your desire. That was
We
also
get
in the
copyright claims.
Olympians. That means I sang it impeccably. If we actually, so I would count it as a compliment if
As
we
a
got
win.
dinged. Yes, that's fine. I got those notes so correct that you thought it was the original artist. Ding us.
Oh my god. So, all right. Anything else before we get into this wild tribal council?
Let's do it.
Okay.
No.
All right. Well, at this tribal council, I think the most important thing to say is that before we really got into anything, Q decided to apparently just tell everybody to vote him out because he felt like he was partially responsible for something that happened, and then now he didn't want to steal anyone's shot away. And I love that Kenzie said, just the only other thing I'll say, and then I want you guys to tell me what you thought, but I love that Kenzie was like, Q, you're saying that you want everybody to like start playing the game and this is a fresh start, but like, what if you're in my plans 1, 2, 3 weeks from now? That's not a fresh start for me. You're literally ruining my game right now. But tell me what you guys thought.
I mean, right from the get, I was very happy that everybody else on the beach looked as confused as I did, because I was sitting there like, what the hell did I miss that brought us to this point? And then everyone's looking at each other like, the fuck is going on? I was like, thank God. So we're all out of the loop. I love that for us.
I love that for us. Yeah, I took it as, again, like a taking back of some of the moves that he pushed on to Tiff. So like, you know what, maybe I shouldn't put such a target on her right now, and the fact that she has this idol and blah blah blah. So let me just say this to create some extra chaos, so that way if we can split these votes a certain way, then maybe we'll still have some control. Like maybe the goal really was a live tribal, like exactly what we got. And it's like, okay, with the Yanu 3, if we can just get 1 or 2 other people to bring in, if I can create enough chaos here, then we have power again.
There was something that Q had said to Tiffany at some point. I don't remember exactly what he said, but like it does lend itself to that point where like they went up to him and they were like, dude, what the hell are you doing? And he was like, I've heard your name, or like whatever. I don't remember what it was that he said to Tiffany to be like, no, like we need to cut this off.
Okay.
But I felt this is what's annoying to me about this whole Q thing, and I'm really annoyed that I picked him to be on my team.
Yeah.
But I wish I had picked like Tiffany instead or something. When did you pick Tiffany? Was she your first pick, Kyle?
Second.
She wasn't my first. Yeah, she was my second. But I think that, did we split male female when we picked?
No.
I wonder if she still would have been there when I picked, but whatever. Because Tiffany might be my favorite player now from the whole season. But yeah. So what bothers me about this whole thing with Q is that this is not the first time this season that he's played this whole "vote me out, I want to go home" thing. He did this pre-merge, and I'm curious about this too, because in that episode we got a confessional from him being like, I don't actually want to quit. I'm not planning to do that. But I don't know who it was at the time. If it was Kenzie or Banu, because I know that there was friction between Kenzie and Q early on in the game. When Tiffany told Q that, like, you know, Kenzie thinks that I'm her number one. Like she thinks that I would take her over you. Like all this, and Q wanted Kenzie out. And so I remember at some point, though, Q had a conversation earlier in the game being like, oh, I'm going to say that I'm quitting, but I don't really mean it. And in this moment, we didn't get a confessional like that. Maybe we will next episode. But I think I remember what Q had said to Tiffany and Kenzie during the tribal, Gina, that you were referencing. He went up to them at one point, was like, I'm trying to help you guys because you wanted to vote Tevin out, but you wouldn't have had the votes. And I think Q was wrong about that. I think they did have the votes. So I actually do think that Kyle is right in that this might have been a manufactured like crisis that Q was stirring up to like cause confusion. But I feel like everything that Q was thinking was wrong. Like I don't think he had to do any of this, even if he thought he was going to be saving Tiffany or whatever.
Right, like the answer was right, but all the work was wrong.
So
Right. And when you think of it that way, so I may have explained what his intended strategy was, but then did we actually execute in an effective manner? That's a completely
right.
different question.
Mhm.
And it's like, so that explains maybe why we took the action, but did we get the desired result? And I think that'll be interesting to kind of see how this goes next week. If enough people did not know that his intention was to create that chaos and confusion, then you actually could end up with a problem here because people will think that maybe your heart is not really in it. And like John had
Mhm.
said before, it's like, do I really want to be making plans for what my game looks like going
Yeah.
forward with somebody who seems to be shaky? Like, if you didn't discuss that with people ahead of time, that that was what your intention was, I would not feel confident in moving forward with you in this game based
Right,
on
you're erratic. I don't know what you're gonna do.
right, right.
And that
Because
that also lends itself really well to, like, I think it was Tevin at some point in the show, because everybody was like, "No, Q, like, you don't wanna go out this way, you don't wanna whatever," and I'm pretty sure Tevin was the one that was like, "We are in this game for $1,000,000. If
Mhm.
someone just decides they don't wanna be here anymore, why am I gonna coddle that person and get them to stay in the
And
game 'cause I
convince
am
them to
trying to
stay.
win?"
Right. Get
No,
out.
if you wanna go, get out. It's like
Mhm.
it's a really dangerous game because I would be that kind of person, like, "Alright, you wanna go so bad? Fine. Goodbye."
Right. This intention would have had to be pre-communicated um, to the people that you intend to get to the end of this game with. Um,
Mhm.
and we weren't privy to those conversations. They certainly may have happened, but if they didn't, I'm not sure this puts him in a very
I mean,
good
judging by literally every single person's reaction, I cannot imagine this was discussed ahead of time
right,
to
right.
anybody.
Unless
Um,
some people are good actors and actresses.
right.
That's the only
Now,
thing, but I don't really believe that. I'm just again being devil's advocate.
Mhm.
Yeah.
um, I wanted to ask because I stepped away for a second. So were you talking about Q not sharing with people what his plan? Is that what the conversation
Mhm.
was?
Yeah.
Basically.
Okay. The only reason I wanted to make sure that you were saying that was because we did see in the next on portion, it looks like we see when we get back to camp after this, a conversation between Tiffany and Q, where Tiffany is like, "Why wouldn't you give me a heads up?"
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
So
I
I
do remember that.
wonder what that's about, and it could refer to a few different things. Why wouldn't you give me a heads up that you told people about my idol? Why wouldn't you give me a heads up that you were going to say you wanted to quit?
Mhm.
And maybe we find out in that conversation, like I mentioned, we got a confessional from Q the last time he threatened to quit, and he said he didn't really want to. Maybe we're going to get that at the start of next episode, where Q
Mhm.
is like, "I threw that out there just to throw everybody off because I was hearing your name." Like maybe we'll see that. Um, but at the same time, I don't know if I buy that either because Q was
Right.
one of the biggest people saying after Tevin came to him, uh, Q was like, Tiffany's got to go. So,
Right. Oh.
um, but after all of this, Q and Tiffany, neither one of them went. It was Tevin that got the majority of votes. And I think, was it Venus that got votes also?
Yes.
I don't think anybody else did, though.
I think Venus has got two, like Tevin and Hunter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which right till
Which
the end, Tevin voting Venus, right to the end.
And she looked pissed walking out of that tribal too.
it's
I
like I
saw a
said what
big
I
eye
said.
roll.
Venus. It
Yeah.
just sucks that after all this excitement, like that's how it still ends.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that it's setting us up for something really, really exciting going forward. But like I'm
'Cause
annoyed.
literally, Kyle, because I texted you last night, Kyle, being like, "What the fuck is happening in this tribal?" And at the time that I texted you, every single person in the game's name had been said at one point. When they were doing that scramble, I heard literally every name mentioned. I was like,
Yes, and I think
nobody
that's
is
when I
safe.
was live tweeting. You were like, "What is going on in this episode?" I was like, "Gino, I don't
There is not a
know."
single person that was not thought about.
And then it ended, and I was like, "Well, boo."
And then I was
Like,
honestly
who
really
cares?
shocked that, like, because there are still people who have like idols and stuff, right?
Who has an idol? Hunter and Tiffany have an idol, right?
Because when at that point, like the fact that nobody played a shot in the dark, used an idol, nothing happened. I was like, you feel safe enough at this tribal right now.
I know Tevin had an extra vote that left with him.
Remind me what happened with Sega's idol? What happened with that one?
I
Well,
can
so
never remember who has what, like who
didn't
was
it
where.
Lee? I think it
Right.
left with Jem.
Right.
Yes.
That's what it
yes.
was. Okay. Because I'm like, wait, how are there only two? There should be a third. And I don't remember one being played because one was
Yes.
Yeah,
not.
I don't think.
Right. Okay.
That's another thing about these idols. It takes so long to get one. The person that finally gets it goes home, and now we're at merge. So like we never even had time to like re-hide the Sega idol
Right.
for someone else to find, right?
At
Unless
that
we're
point, it
forgetting
should
it.
just
Unless we're
be
forgetting it.
at that point, it should just be another idol. Just hide an idol. Like especially like merge, great. Someone left
Mhm.
with an idol. Here's an idol. Someone find it.
Right. Not to keep bringing it up, but we know in Australian Survivor, at least as a viewer, they may not know that that person they just voted out left with an idol, but we know a new one is going to be there by the
Yes.
next day.
Correct.
So come on, like let's get on board. Let's always keep an idol like in the wind. You know, do we know how long these idols are good? Because these were all found pre-merge.
Oh, I don't remember.
Right,
I don't
just
know.
a random. I'm just
remember.
kind of sort of curious. So I wonder if they last as long as any other idol that might be found now. Like, let's just say Tiffany plays her idol in the next episode, just hypothetically. Um, do we get a new one? Does that last until like Final Five, like other idols, or like what can we expect from that? But I guess we really
I
don't
can't
know.
remember. It was
And-
probably on that sheet. I just like there's so much shit has happened, and there's
Right.
so many rules with these idols that I don't remember what I heard and what I didn't.
So many
I
rules
will.
all the time.
Well,
I
because
have to
even then,
say-
because then there was that whole thing of like, well, if you don't end up losing before your next tribal, you all this, there's still going to be an opportunity later for you to get the real idol. Like, there's always so much
Right.
to it that I can't
Which-
freaking
Right.
keep track of the rules.
That's what happened to Hunter. Yeah, I was just about to pull this comment up from Brett too, because I had a thought about this as well. So Brett said maybe there's an idol at merge and they aren't looking or haven't seen it yet on episode.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, we just watched this episode where we had this huge segment of hide and seek where everybody is separating, everyone's going off, and it's not the easiest thing to do maybe during a game like that. But I don't think since we got to merge, we've seen anybody look for an idol,
Yeah,
right?
even
And it's like,
trying, yeah.
and I feel like I just hate this.
And like, you know, is it possible they're
like,
just
why
not
are we-
putting it in the edit? Sure,
I just
but
feel
like,
like I hate this.
Well, because that's the thing too. Like I will say, I did find the hide and seek thing funny at times. Like that there was something entertaining about it, but it also makes me wonder, like, does this cast suck? You just merged and you're playing hide and seek. Go find an idol.
there is a world in which people are looking and they're just not putting it in the edit because like nothing came to fruition. But like, give your cast the benefit of like, let me make sure that everybody knows that you're not idiots. You know, like, at least you're trying. Because there's been so much like we at the very least, but also social media in general. I feel like it's criticizing this cast so much for being like, literally, what the fuck are any of you doing? And it's like maybe like set them up for success a little bit if there is something going on, and just like stick on the edit. But like also maybe they're not looking. I don't know.
Right.
It's just wild, honestly. But yeah, so Tevin went home. Did we say that already?
I think we said it a few times.
Probably.
Yeah.
Maybe not in chronological order, but it definitely has been said.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's it, right? Is there anything else for this episode? Did I forget anything?
I don't
Anything?
I don't think so.
I don't
All right.
think so either.
I don't even. So other than Tiffany confronting Q in the next on about telling people about her idol and saying why wouldn't you give me a heads up and all that, there wasn't really anything like specific that stood out to me other than it just seems like things are getting wild. I feel like we saw Charlie go to Maria being like, this game is getting crazy. Like we saw Venus calling people, I think Hunter and some other guy a meathead. It just seems like there's going to be a lot of drama and chaos. So,
Well, I mean, after a tribal like that, how could there not be some kind of a something? Like, there's got to be an explosion after something like that. You know, I'd be concerned if there wasn't drama.
yeah. Yeah, I feel like.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I hope that we see another idol found. I hope we see some chaos. That's all. That's what I'm looking for.
We couldn't possibly get more than what we got this week, so. But I'm here for more. Here for more.
And I'm just excited to see what the structure of the game is going to look like going into the next episode, because again, every single person was mentioned in that tribal. So like there's got to be a shift somewhere that's going to come out of this.
Right.
So I have no idea who is going to end up working with who or like who's going to be targeting who. I'm very interested in what that's going to look like.
Oh yeah. Yep.
All right. Well, we haven't been huge fans of this season, but at least they've set it up here now where I feel like it could be an entertaining end to the season at least. So I guess we'll see what happens. Does anyone else have anything for the benefit of the community regarding Survivor 46, Episode 8, or anything else regarding Survivor 46 you'd like to bring up?
I don't believe so.
No, I'm satisfied.
Me too. I feel pretty satisfied. I do.
Mhm.
Okay, so what do we have coming up then? We're not
Oh,
done-
wait. You know what we haven't done?
Oh, we haven't gone over our teams. Yeah. Oh, you know what I actually wanted to just briefly, I almost forgot this too. So there were many people that called this the dumbest tribal council of all time. So I have a little clip here
Oh, no.
of some of my favorite. I hope Kyle can see. We've been having some technical difficulties with Restream. I think Gina's been okay with seeing videos. Kyle and I haven't always been able to see them. I really
I'm
hope you
hit or
can see
miss.
this one, Kyle. But this is just some of my favorite reactions to this tribal council. So enjoy
no.
this short clip.
You're up.
That was the dumbest thing ever.
Dumbest tribal ever.
That was the other thing that I was really loving about this tribe was every time it would cut to Soda and she'd just be sitting there like, what is going on?
What is this?
Like the way her eyes followed, it's like the way Soda's eyes followed Q on his way to the booth. Like, what the hell are you doing?
What is happening?
But you do have to give Liz some credit here because I do sort of feel like the reason why the votes kind of went the way that they did is because she sort of spearheaded that. She was like, listen, I don't care what y'all's talking about. I don't care what y'all's doing. I'm still voting Tevin. That's what I'm doing. Y'all let me know what's up or don't, but that's what I'm doing. And it's like, I feel like that shifted things in that moment. I don't know if that's what the edit wanted us to believe, or if that truly is what kind of shifted the tide there. But like,
Yeah,
that was my impression there. It's like, if that's the case, like, you got to give Liz a little bit of respect here. Like, she can't eat anything. She doesn't need the money, but like,
I
at least
think
she's
you're right.
strong-minded.
Yeah, no, I think you're right because it was after that conversation where Liz said that Charlie and Maria were standing, on the beach together, being like, "What do we do? Like, what do we do here?"
Well, she said it during that tribal too.
No, well, Charlie said to Maria though on that, after Liz was like, "I'm still voting Tevin. You guys can do whatever you want," and it was like right after that conversation that Charlie and Maria were talking about it, and Maria wasn't sure, and Charlie was like, "We could still just vote Tevin," and I wonder if Liz had not made that comment, if that would have even been, a conversation that Maria and Charlie had. So, yeah, how about, maybe Liz is going to make some moves here. And I will say, I think most of her talk about how much she doesn't need the money happened in the pre-merge phase.
Yep.
And now Randon's gone, Soda's gone, Tevin's gone. Venus needs anybody she can get to work with. And Hunter, like I said, feels the most removed from their tribe for some reason to me than anyone else, especially now with Tevin being gone. Like Hunter just feels like he's out on his own island.
Well, now that you said that like that, the other supposable here, the other suppository,
suppository
is like, does Liz know that she made a mistake by talking about her finances? And then she said, you know what? Once I get to merge, I'm just going to pluck all these people off.
Could be.
Is she the mastermind?
Maybe she is. Right?
Does Team Petty Marmon take this home?
Like, how many people are left that know how much money Liz has?
Right. Unless they told them, which I feel like by the time you got to merge, that would not be at the forefront of your mind.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, oh my god, there's all of these like strategic things happening in the game, but also get this, Liz loaded.
Exactly. Liz is loud. Yeah, I don't think so. So,
Yeah, the battle of the unwanted draft picks rages on.
the
No,
fact that they
listen.
have
Better
outlasted so many people and no one wanted to take them is ridiculous.
really
So
shows you how
disrespectful.
bad our drafting skills are.
I mean,
Woo!
Mikey said in the group chat the other day, he was like, if I could go back in time, I would have selected Ben first. Thank you.
I feel like if Mikey go back in time, Ben and Liz would have been his first 2 draft picks.
Certainly would have served him better than anybody else he chose.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Well, so let's look at
Mikey.
everybody's team,
On
starting
his
with Mikey.
birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Mikey. This is your team. This is your
Happy
team.
birthday. You're out of the chat.
Sorry, babe.
It's Tim, Brandon,
Damn.
Jess, and Jelinski, the legendary Jelinski.
Sorry,
They
Jason.
still be saying several.
They sure do.
I
He's
still
a
can't
legend in his
believe.
own right.
I can't believe that we got down to the end and Mikey had a choice between Jelinski and Ben and Liz, and he picked Jelinski.
And it was just so funny. Like, in that moment, he was like, you know what? I'm going to do something crazy, but I really think it's going to work for me. And the first person out, we were like, oof.
Yikes.
Sorry. So sorry.
Crikey.
Yeah, that was rough. So that's Mikey's team. Kyle, you did take a hit this week, but you do still have 2, I think, very strong players. I don't think
Absolutely.
Tiffany
Yeah.
and Kenzie are going anywhere.
I'm not out of the conversation,
Those
but
are
I am.
solid, too.
I'm hobbling. I've taken some blows.
No, I mean, well, I'm on the same page as you, honestly.
Good.
But I think my people are shakier than yours. I've got Venus and
I would agree with that. Yeah, you got problems.
You got some problems.
but Gina's looking pretty solid right now.
Gina's looking real good.
I
Good.
love my team.
Yeah, your team is looking great.
Oh, I love my team.
Your team could very easily be Final 3.
I would love nothing more. I am due to win a fucking draft. All right,
You
one
are.
of these 3 is going to take it home for me.
Well, you've won one of them before, haven't you?
No, I've never won a draft.
I remember that. I just wanted you to say it again.
Thanks, Kyle. Thank you.
Oh!
Thanks, Kyle. Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate you.
Man.
Thank
I love you.
Mhm.
Wow.
Come on. There's only one of us that can say that. So,
Wow.
Yeah, making Strat Chat history by never winning a draft.
in what, like, at least 2 years since we started drafting?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Sorry.
I've been runner-up.
Well, let's take a look at our team totals, though. This point system
Oh.
that Mikey has put together for us.
Sheena's
We'll do our
winning that.
best.
Yeah,
We'll
let's
do
see.
our best
For
to
now.
explain what's happening here. So these are the just episode 8 totals. Team Morgino wins the episode with 33 points.
That's right.
Team Dunphy in second place with 25 points. Team Petty with 10 points. And Team Marmon with his total for the remainder of the season, 0 points.
There'll never be more.
Yeah.
But also, there'll
Um,
never be less. Can't get
It's
thing.
true. It's true. It's
Can't
true.
get thing.
I will say we had another Mikey Marmon, his individual team is out, but he does still have some skin in the game here in the battle of the unwanted draft picks, where we had another draw this week. Team Petty Marmon and Team Morgino Dunphy both tied with 8.5 points. So these are our season totals team wise. So Team Morgino has had 3 episode wins overall.
Damn.
Hell yeah.
Team Petty has also had 3 wins.
Hey.
Team Morgino and Petty have also each they've had a draw.
We tied.
They tied. I've only won 1 episode. I'm starting to fall out of this race. I'm 53 points behind Kyle. I'm 73 points behind Gina. Luckily, though, I'm 150.5 points ahead of Mikey. So, and our battle of the unwanted draft picks remains close.
Yeah, I
We've
don't have a
had
shot here unless Gina loses another person this week. Because she just has more people. So, it's just not a shot.
I mean, listen, if Hunter loses immunity, that could be a problem. But I think Maria and Charlie are fine.
They are.
For the time being, yes.
Unless something crazy happens in the next episode.
Yeah. Wait, is this the right one? Can this be right? Q had the most points in this episode. It bothers me. Honestly. He's on my team, and I'm not even happy about it. Get this guy out of here.
Oh my god.
Yeah, apparently Q
Aw,
had
okay.
had the most points this episode. Tevin with a -8. Jesus Christ.
It really hurts my heart.
Yeah. And then overall totals, Kenzie still at the top with 101.5 points, followed by Hunter, then Q, then Venus, then Tiffany, which is very interesting to me. When you look at the top 5 point getters in this, none of them include Siga, even though Siga performed very well in the early part of the game. So it's kind of interesting to me. But yeah, so those are our points. Here's our point chart for episode 8. Oh. I wish we had Mikey to because he knows all the explanations for this stuff. So like right off the top of his head, we just know that we earned points for stuff. And Gina's team did the best.
And
this
I'm
week,
winning.
Right.
Yeah.
Points have been earned.
So, but we know that we earn points for things like confessionals, the amount of time somebody cries in an episode. If they get voted out, it's minus. If they get voted out with an idol in their pocket, it's even more of a minus. So all these things are included in the point system that Mikey has created for our podcast. But he's out celebrating his birthday tonight, so you're left with us.
And we slammed him.
Yeah, yeah. So. But all right, I think that's all I got for this. You guys got anything else?
Now I am satisfied.
Okay. We're not done for this week. We are going to be talking about on Thursday. So what's the date for that? Thursday, the 25th of April. We'll be discussing first, right, the Challenge All-Stars 4 at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, the most recent episode. And then we'll be talking about the most recent week, 3 episodes of Big Brother Canada 12. That'll be at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday.
Double eviction.
That's right.
That's right. I forgot.
Double eviction, yeah. Hopefully we'll see something exciting. I would love to see at least one of Spicy V or Anthony go in that double, but I don't know if that's going to happen. But
I'm already out of that draft, so
yeah. Honestly, you know what's funny to me? You know what's funny to me right now? I got to be honest, is that we're watching Survivor 46, BB Can 12, and the Challenge All Stars 4 right now, right? Mm-hmm. And the show that we've had the most fatigue with, the Challenge, is the one that I'm enjoying the most.
I agree.
Yeah, that's that. But whether we're enjoying the show or not, we always have a fun conversation about it. So come hang out with us on Thursday, April 25th, 8 p.m. Eastern for the Challenge All-Stars 4, 9:30 p.m. Eastern for Big Brother Canada 12. And then, of course, we'll be back next Monday, the 29th, to talk more Survivor 46. Hopefully, Mikey will be joining us, and that'll be at our usual Monday time at 9 p.m. Eastern. Other than that, you can find us on the socials at Strat Chat Pod. We're everywhere on social, all social media platforms. Find us, throw us a like, a comment, a subscription, a follow. Find us on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. Leave us a really nice review. We'd really appreciate it. And of course, we will definitely be seeing you soon. I do have one more thing to do before we leave.
Oh.
Just want to.
Manwan Monday.
All right, always got to make sure we get a couple of those in there for Gina. She loves Manwan Monday.
And thank you to Jacob Hacker from Netflix's The Mole for providing
Yes.
the voiceover.
That is his voice, Jacob Hacker from Netflix's The Mole. Also
and for that reason
yeah.
and that reason alone, I love it.
And he's also known for his fantastic work in commercials for Stanley Steamer. So make sure you check those out.
He's also known for his fantastic work for the Australian Firefighters Calendar, where he looks hot as fucking hell.
Yeah, I will tell you, he is ripped. Check it out.
No, we'll tell you. Not bad.
Sorry, Jem. I love you. I love you, Jem. Love you, Jem. Don't worry. All right, we're out of here. What's going on?
Lido.